Hello, my name's Anthea Jones, and I'm one of the blended CBT practitioners for Mid and North Powys Mind. My colleague Jenny Englefield is the other half of the job, and Jenny is the other person who helps you with the online CBT. What I'm going to do today is tell you a little bit about what CBT is. We'll try a little technique later on, something that's in the Silvercloud program, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what's in Silvercloud and how you can yourselves join. What I'd recommend before you do listen to these sessions that are going to be coming up is that you use some pen and paper or you get yourself a journal, because CBT is a really different therapy to the other kind of therapies. CBT is sometimes known as the homework therapy because it involves writing things down and doing things. You can use a simple exercise book like this if you want to, or a nicer, smaller sort of journal like this where you can write things in. One of the ladies who came to see me for CBT bought me a lovely journal with a band around it. So I keep in things that I find of interest in the back, and then I write, as you can see, things that are relevant in the front of the book. And it's really useful to look back over what you've written as you're doing some of the exercises and to see how you've progressed or things that are still tripping you up. And it's really useful to keep a record. So journaling with CBT is really, really useful. So the Silvercloud program is an online CBT program, and you can either do it by yourselves, which is called the standalone CBT, in which case you take on the CBT program and you go through it and you just get some comments back from somebody in the local health board who will give you some comments about how you're progressing. Or you can do blended CBT, which is myself or Jenny. And during this lockdown period, Jenny and I are calling you and we're going to do blended CBT over the phone. And when lockdown's lifted, we'll be back in the GP surgeries in all the areas across Powys, Bilth, Rhayader, Landod, Knighton and Prestine, and we'll meet you face to face and help you with your CBT when you come into the surgery. The one thing to say about blended CBT is there's a huge amount of information. CBT is very information heavy, and some people are put off doing CBT because they see so much stuff and they think, where do I start? So it's really good to break CBT down into small sections. And so when you're looking at doing blended CBT, it's a good idea to log on and have a look through and find the aspects of it that work for you. I'll show you a few things that are in the program today so you can get a taste for it and see what there is. The good thing about CBT is it breaks down all of the stuff that's going on for you, and it kind of looks at it in a more logical way. And a really good place to start is to try and understand your current situation, what's going on for you, what's triggering you, what's good and bad, and then we can take it from there. Now, I've got something to show you. I'm just going to show you a slide that is in the Silvercloud program. And this slide is called Understanding My Situation. And it helps you to sort of look through what's bothering you in all the areas of your life. So we've all got things at the moment that are difficult, that are bothering us. So it looks at your overall circumstances. It's trying to get you to zoom out and look at the bigger picture instead of focusing on something and worrying about something. It's getting you to zoom right out and look. So we'll put this up on the website later on, or when you go into Silvercloud, you'll find it there yourselves. And you see what you do is you either print it out or you type it into the Silvercloud system, and you talk about a little bit about your history, a little bit about relationships, and perhaps something about things that the situation you're in at the moment, what's triggering you, how you're feeling, and any physical reactions or body sensations that you're noticing, and how you're acting and behaving. And the really important one with CBT there at the bottom is thoughts. What kind of thoughts are you having at the moment? And then we can look together at the thoughts, and we can discuss those and find out how we can help you with those. So this understanding my situation is a really, really key part of CBT. So I'm going to come back now. Here I am. That's it. Take my glasses off. And so that's why the journals are so useful. These journals, because you can write about that kind of thing in your journal and start to understand yourself. Because CBT is about taking responsibility for your own stuff. it comes down to that point where you just need to think, okay, I need to sort myself out, or I need to see more clearly, I need to worry less, whatever it is. But it's really practical things. So writing stuff down is really helpful. I guess the most famous technique of all CBT, if we start with the one that everybody knows about, it's the worry tree. It's the biggest used CBT technique there is. And we're just going to put that one up on the screen for you now. There's an example of the worry tree. Now, this is a brilliant, easy to use little technique, really. Like I said before, we'll put it up on the website afterwards, and you can print one out, and then you can use that and start to fill it out. And what it does is it defines the problem. So if you've noticed that you're starting to worry, sometimes you start thinking more and more, and you get lost in a quagmire, and you don't know which way to turn. So the worry tree is a really practical thing you can do as soon as you start noticing you're worrying. What I do is I have a pile of these, actually. I've got one here, and I grab my worry tree and I start going through it. And what I do is I think of as many solutions, no matter how silly they seem, and I write them into one of these boxes. So what the worry tree does, if I get my specs on again, it asks you to define your problem. So you put in the top box here, what am I worrying about? So you actually name what it is that you're worrying about. And then you think as many solutions, as like I said before, as you can, and you write them down in the box. Is there anything you can do about it? If there is, make a list. If there isn't anything you can do about it, what we recommend you do is that it says on here that you distract yourself, but I'd rather say you find something else to go and do for a while because you can't actually find a practical solution. But if you can find a practical solution, it's better. If you can think of as many solutions as you can do a pros and cons list. That's also quite useful. And then you write them within your worry tree, and then you go and do something. You choose one of the things that you've written down in that list and you go and try it. Because the thing about worrying is that if you don't actually try and sort it out and solve it, it just grows in your mind and it gets bigger and bigger. So that the best thing to do is to use a worry tree, to run through it and try one of the solutions that you've come up with and give it a go. And then you can see how it went. Did that work? Did that help you with a worry? If it didn't, we can try something else. A lot of people who come and see me for CBT, what they tend to do, they've learned to do over time, is they've internalized their worry tree. So they started off by printing out some trees and trying them at home. And they found out then, as soon as they started worrying, they noticed naturally that they'd start to problem solve. And within the Silvercloud system, there's a whole section on problem solving, which goes into how you actually physically problem solve, and it gives you loads of exercises and examples of other people who've had problems and how they solved them. So it's a really, really great practical thing to look at and to try. So hopefully that worry tree is something that people will feel like you'd like to try, and we will put it up on the website, like I said, later on. So just to return back to me, here I am again. So the problem solving technique is something that's really practical to address worrying. So I hope you had something from today's broadcast. And like I said, if you can get hold of a journal or an exercise book to write some of these things in, that would be really useful. And we will supply some of them online as well. And if you fancy trying the blended online CBT, we recommend that you go to your GP and ask for a referral, or you contact Jenny and myself and we will sort the referral out for you. And then we will take you slowly through the program, and you can find out all the different exercises and techniques that are in there, because there's so many really great techniques. And if you find something that works for you, that can be brilliant. Just one thing. I mean, the last thing to say really is that there's so much stuff in there. If you just pick something and then you try it and it works, even one technique a week can be a brilliant idea. And that might just start to make a difference. And we'll do some more next week, and we'll try some. I'll show you some other techniques that are in the Silvercloud program that you may want to try. Okay, see you guys. Bye.